Hey guys, welcome back. It's Jack from CasinoIncomeAcademy.com. So what you're seeing on the screen is a video from our buddy Roulette Master over on his channel that was done during the week. So many of you have seen the Romanowski roulette. Romanowski roulette has been around for a long time. It's considered, quote unquote, a safe system, whatever that may mean to you. The problem with Romanowski is that you make a little bit of money, but when you lose a lot more money. So you can win 5, 8, 10, 12 times in a row, but when you lose, you're losing a lot back. So the problem is that I think we've shown on this channel one of the versions, like a newer version of Romanowski that was decent, and we tested it out. Well, a few days ago on Roulette Master's channel, Todd Hoover, I believe that's his name, sent in a Romanowski upgrade, and it's pretty cool. And but I'm going to show you how we do our little academy kind of twist on this. So my problem with even this new upgrade is that, you know, it's one of these things where it's working. Oh my God, it's fantastic. And then if you get losses that are too close together, you're increasing your bets like through the roof, right? Absolutely. And it does happen to Roulette Master in here a few times. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about in terms of the way that if you want to try this, the way that we would approach this. So let's talk about Todd's version of this that was played on the channel. And by the way, multiple times during this test session, you could have quit with anything from $100 to, I guess it was probably about $500. I don't know, somewhere like that. But of course, he's doing the right thing and he's testing and testing. He's not just quitting in 3 minutes when he gets up to $100. He wants to show you, like I usually do, the good and the bad. So he does the right thing. This system does make money, but boy, was it stretched because he kept playing. So let's take a quick look at what they were doing in this video. First of all right? Whoops, let's pull that up. Why is that not happening? Okay, there we go. All right, so here is what was going on in that video for Todd's upgrade. It was a $2,000 bankroll, but they were playing with $60 on the second and third dozen. And then in Romanowski, you play 2 corner bets at $20 each. All right. So understand, and if you haven't watched that video, I'm putting it in the description section so you can watch it and understand this better. What Todd has done is he's created a ladder system that doubles. And what happens is you go up and down the ladder, but you're going up and down the ladder, and I'm putting an asterisk next to this. You need to have 5 wins at that higher level, and then you're going to go back down. Now, there is a caveat that's in that video where if you're at a much higher level, you need to use your common sense. And if you've gotten back into profit, you can go down more than just one level. Okay, like we've talked about with the ladder videos, right? You can use your common sense. You can drop down 2 levels, okay, in your double ups. Now, that's great. I think Todd did a great job there, and I think the Roulette Master did a great job using common sense, which a lot of times we don't see in these videos, right? You don't want to stay at those nosebleeds. Now, let's go on to something else. Let's do a little evaluation, and I love doing this. I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this. So, this is ChatGPT, completely free. And I'm telling you guys, utilizing this to understand the math and the flexibility things is so incredible. It costs you nothing to have Einstein over here helping to work through numbers and concepts and things like that. If you're not using ChatGPT, you're just being lazy. Okay, so let's look at what I asked. I'm playing the American roulette wheel doing the following bets, and these are Todd's numbers. 60 on the second and third dozen each. I'm also placing 2 individual corner bets in the first dozen for $20 each. The total of these bets is $160, right? So this is what I'm asking ChatGPT to do for me. Give me the options for lowering these bet amounts, but you must keep the ratio the same between the bets. Okay, it's like a third, right? So let's walk through what our friend ChatGPT did. It determined the ratio, right? 3-to-1. There you go. Look at that. So each dozen bet is 1.5 units for each 0.5 unit on the corner bets. It did all this for me. And now I'm asking it to scale and show me options that are lower. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. And that's going to be the biggest difference of all between the way we look at things and a lot of times the way other YouTubers and other gamblers look at things. So let's look at the scaled options that ChatGPT gave us. So option number 1 basically is half. We can go to a $30 bet on the dozens each, and then that makes it a $10 on each corner. So now it's a total of an $80 bet, right? We can drop it more, and we can do 15 on each dozen and then $5 on each corner bet. This kind of falls into kind of what I would like to do. And then you can really dummy this down and play it even lower here for a 750, 750, 250. And you can certainly do this on the electronic. So these are all doable things on the electronic, right? All right. And then there's a, what is this one? What did it do here? All right, so this one is a slightly different scale. That's what it was giving us here. So it's a little bit different of a scale, right? And this one is kind of an in-between thing. And then here it gives us a whole table, right, of differences. Now, this is readily available. If you want to take a picture of the screen, you can see this right here, right? And now let's go on and we'll talk about, this video is not about doing the math and dummying it down from this to just a smaller level, all right? This is where the real difference is for us. So let's do this. We're going to take the one that I like, the 15, 15, and 5. And there's no reason I like it. I just like the amounts. So there's nothing magical about it. 15, 15, and 5. And we're going to do this. So we're going to make this our 15 and 5. Okay. Now, listen up. This is where it gets a little important. This bankroll that Todd did and what they were using was configured to give you an extremely limited number of double-ups. This Romanowski situation feels like the Holy Grail because you win so many in a row most of the time. So, the problem when you try this, there's a couple of problems, and I'm going to show you some flexibility as to how you can attempt to make this into more of a casino income academy type strategy. Number 1, everything we do for every game and every strategy that goes into any of our toolboxes, the number 1 concern is not the amount of profit. All right? What am I talking about here? That's not our number one objective. Our number one objective comes from my trading career and teaching people how to trade. It's capital preservation, right? And we do that by limiting the bankroll volatility. Capital preservation is the most important thing you can do in trading and in casino cash flow. Nothing is more important. Now you say, well, what are you talking about? I'm trying to do this to make money. Let me explain something to you, and I'm going to say this over and over. If you have a safer, quote unquote, system, and you've done the homework that we do on all of our graduate level systems and courses, you will realize that the Holy Grail is not based on how much money you're making. It's based on the safety of the mechanism or the strategy. Because the amount that you're making is complete BS. Now you say, what are you talking about? If you could create a strategy and tweak it where your safety is a given, where the ability to lose your bankroll and the volatility is limited tremendously, and you only made $5 every half hour. Let's just use that as a hypothetical. Most of you would say to me, oh, that's garbage. I'm only making $5 an hour. I could work at McDonald's. You're right. But here's where you are short-sighted. Let's just say that it took you $600 bankroll, for argument's sake, and you made $5. If you have not watched our other math videos from last week, then you need to. Because if it was as safe as hell, and you made $5 or $10 every half an hour, you have two choices. You can build up your bankroll so that now, instead of whatever base amount you were playing with, you can play with a bigger base and still have that incredible safety because it doesn't change because it's part of the system. And now you're making double every half an hour. You can start with a bigger bankroll because the safety is so great. And you can make $20 every half hour. Do you understand that the amount of money that you're making is secondary to the safety and preservation of your freaking bankroll? If you figure that out, you will realize that that is the secret sauce. Compounding, building your bankroll is the secret sauce. So when you watch these videos that are telling you that they made $400 in 10 minutes on the roulette bankrupt channel or whatever, they're risking a ton of money, massive volatility, to make that money. That is not the secret for consistent, long-term, business-like paychecks. All right. So now, number one, capital preservation, right? Number two. Now, if you want to say to me, how much are we making? Okay, but only then. And of course, a third component is recovery, right? So the problem with the one that you saw on Roulette Master is, number one, because they're doing crazy double ups and they're trying to survive with this bankroll. If you have, and he got in trouble multiple times on that video, where they were only down to a few $100s. And he only was playing for 15 minutes. What the hell do you think happens if you're doing that on a daily basis? Okay, now, To their credit, they could have quit in 3 minutes, 4 minutes with $100. That's another part of the equation. We'll get to that. So here's the deal. First, you have to change the relationship in this specific, and I'm only talking about this Romanowski upgrade. I'm not talking about anything else. The relationship between the bet amounts and the bankroll, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Because it's so easy to blow up your bankroll. They came back to the credit of the system, which is great. But do you want to constantly take your $2,000 down to $150 and pray that the next spin is okay? I don't think so. So the first thing you need to do to tweak this system is to make it safer. So the reason we went to ChatGPT is to determine number one, how we can do that, right? The easy way to do that. And the first thing you can do is to drop the bet amounts. Now, most channels on YouTube or sellers of systems or whatever you want to know, they would drop it like this. But guess what else they would do? They would toy with you and they would say to you, now you only need a bankroll of. So they would cut this in a third or whatever the hell it may be, right? They'd say it's $750. Oh, now you only need $750. Now you only need $800. They didn't do anything. They just told you to walk into the casino with less money. But the risk to reward ratio still sucks because it's the same thing. If you have the whack numbers come up, the same way you saw in the 15 minutes, your smaller bankroll is going to get wiped out the same way that this got wiped out. So the first thing you need to do is this. You can drop, and I'm giving you this example, right? To the 15 and the two $5 corners and still maintain approximately the $2,000 bankroll or a little less, whatever. You have to test everything, right? It's all about testing with us. But for the moment, let's just say you keep this $2,000 bankroll. The bigger the bankroll, the less stress. Now, I'm not saying walk in with $10,000 and play dollar bets. I understand that's stupid. But what I'm showing you is that the number one problem here was you can get into trouble much quicker. I want to lower that stress level down. We dropped 2 steps, right? Not 30 and 10. We dropped to 15 and 5, and we're going to keep this. Okay? Now, the next thing, the obvious thing, the other thing we teach all the time, don't be an idiot. You're going into the casino and you're not going to sit there for 7 hours. You're going to set reasonable profit targets. What is a reasonable profit target? Now, the way they were playing here, I can tell you that if I was up $150 or $200 with this scenario, I was done. Anything in that ballpark, I'm done. And if you watch the video, getting up that 100, 150, 200 was not usually a problem. It eliminates the time and the amount of times that you're putting your foot in the shark tank. If you keep putting your foot in the shark tank and getting those hits and hits and hits that are the wonderful, you're rolling the dice that you are going to have one of the whack numbers come up a little too soon between. For this system to work, you want the whack numbers to be far apart. You're going to hit them. We know that. But if they come one after the other or only a few hits in between, this system with the doubling and going up waiting for 5 hits and then dropping doesn't work too well, because that's where you get in trouble. That's the only way you get in trouble with this system, by the way. That's it. The whack number's coming up a little too often. If they don't come up that often, this is the holy grail, right? But guess what? If you do this long enough, they're going to come up more often. You have to have a profit target that is freaking reasonable and walk away, and as he says, declare victory over the casino. I totally agree. But this is the better way to do it. Establish, let's say this is a $150 profit target. What would it be with the 15 and 5? $30, $40? Maybe. You have to test like everything else. I'm going to tell you that if you use this $60 bets on the dozens, and I'm telling you 150, 200, then that equates out to what here? Like 45, I don't know. $40 to $60 profits, targets. Something like that. But you got to test, because it's not how much can I make and be greedy. It's playing mini games and mini sessions and calling it a day. Because everything we do is taking a plus sign and putting it on our log and locking it in. Because in the bigger picture for us, we want to grow our bankrolls so that if we started here, once we made enough money and felt comfortable and evaluated the actual data, we would know that even though we're overdoing it on purpose with a $2,000 bankroll to play here for comfort, maybe we would find out, that we can up this amount to the $30 level. The 30 and 30 and the 10 and 10, right? Maybe we could do that. But maybe we can do that every $600. So when we hit 2,600 or 2,800, I don't know. It's the concept that I'm trying to get you to understand. So we have more money than we need to play at this level instead of pushing the envelope. And we're also going to set real, reasonable profit targets. What are they? You need to test. You need to do 30, 40, 50 sessions and test. How do we test things like this? We use simulators, which is not the perfect answer. We use spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets. But even better is to get real numbers. There's a ton of YouTubers that are showing live 30-minute sessions, things like that, with a physical wheel. You can go to your local casino and just chart and write down the numbers. And there's plenty of places on the internet. You can buy books that have 72 hours or whatever it is in the casino at the roulette. They're all over the place where you can get real roulette numbers to test against. And we have them as well, by the way, on our website. We do have that kind of stuff. And that just reminds me that I need to put those up in the article and research section, most likely. So I'll try to get on that. All right, so let's just do this and give this a quick shot. Just to kind of show you. But do you understand the changes that we just made using ChatGPT and common sense? How we're working this out, right? Give Todd a lot of and Roulette Master a major hand for this, because they were on the right track. They just don't use the Academy version of preservation of capital. It still is too much of a gamble for me. We're not looking to have fun and gamble. and make as much money as we can. We're looking for lessening our stress level and making consistent profits. So let's try this. So what we'd be doing is 15 and again, I'm not doing anything different here. It's in the numbers and the bankroll and the evaluation of profit target. So me showing you this is no different than what he did on his channel. We're just doing it for a different amount. And we're also going to, if I was doing this over the next few hours, I would evaluate session after session to determine the reasonable profit target. It may be $40, it may be $35, it may be $52. I don't know. Now, we're going to do $5 on these, what do you call this? So it's 2365, it's right here. And then the other one is right here. And remember, when he had a loss, he was doubling up and he was hoping to get 5 wins before he dropped down. Okay? And if you were on a higher level than just level 2, and you got 4 wins and you were already back in the profit range, they were doing where they were dropping back down to preserve their capital. They were doing the right thing. But the key to his version was trying to get 5 wins at the higher level before dropping. That's really all you need to know. So let's see what happens. All right, 19. It's a win, right? It's a win. Let's just keep going. And you should be able to get a bunch of wins in a row with this Romanowski. That's why people like this. Anything in the second and third, you're winning, right? So let's keep going. Another win. So you see how the wins really stack up with Romanowski. All right, we're going to do one more. Then we're going to look at where we're at. Okay, here's another win. So let's pull this down and see where we're at. We're up $25 right now. We haven't even had a loss yet. Now, this is where 99% of the people get greedy. This is how you lose on every game and every strategy. You are up $25. You haven't even had to go up yet, right? I'm not saying this is the quitting point. I don't know because I haven't done evaluations and tests. This is why you need to do this. Okay? We have had no stress on our $2,000 bankroll at this point. And it doesn't matter whether you were betting what he was betting or me. Forget about the dollars. The dollars matter, and the change in the bet structure, like I've shown you, matters when we get into trouble. Obviously, it doesn't matter when you're winning and winning and winning. Who cares? All right, so let's go back out again. And let's see. Right? Okay, let's see if we can win a few more before getting that loss. There's another win. So that's going to be, I think we're making $5 on each one, I'm pretty sure. All right, so that's another win. So that would be, I think we're making 5. So that would be about $30. Let's do it again. And there's another win. Let's check and see where we're at now. Always know where you're at. There you go. $35. Right? Now, that may be the pressure point that's easy to get without sticking our foot in the shark tank. I don't know. Maybe it's 40. Maybe it's 45. So that's what you're going to have to determine. Now, remember, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. watch the other video for those rules that I'm talking about, where if you get a loss, you're going to double and you're going to look for 5 wins most of the time. You can learn those rules over there. Roulette Master did a great job. But the rules were not the problem. They were really good. It's this that I think is the problem, or was the problem for me. There you go. Finally got a loss. So we were up $35 and we got a loss. Now watch this. That we had how many wins? 5, 6, 7? I don't know. And look what one loss does with this Romanowski. Look, you're down $5. You were up 35 and now you're down 5. Okay? That's the negative with Romanowski. But the way that we combat that, or the way he combats that, is because our winning percentage is so high. So what I've done here is give you more rope by dropping these bet amounts, the base bets, and keeping the bankroll the same or close to it, right? So let's do this and see what happens. Let's do it his way, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put these back out. Okay, so this is the original bet amount. We lost, so basically we have to, this one doesn't allow me to just do the double. What a pain in the neck. Okay, so we'll just do it. Another 10, another 10, and another 5. Okay, so now we're at an $80 bet. Okay? You would have been, I think this was a 160, right? So you would have been already at 320 or whatever here. So we've lowered our amount. But again, we doubled, but the $80 second tier, look at the percentage difference between this second tier versus our 2,000 versus the 320 or whatever versus the 2,000. That's one of the biggest keys. So here we go. And the way he plays it is he's looking for 5 wins and then dropping down. There's win number 1. Right? There's win number 2. Uh-oh, is that a win? Nope. Now, you see where the problem comes in with Romanowski. If we would have gotten a 5, that would have looked like a miracle, right? Everything's wonderful. But in this situation, we had a loss with another loss a little too quick. So what they would do is go up again. Okay? And what he's doing is now he has to win again. He has to win. He's looking to win 5 times. Now, I keep talking to you guys about common sense. You need to know where your bankroll is. What if we get 4 wins in a row now at this level? And we know where our bankroll is, but we're not quite back to where we were. You need to make a common sense decision if you've had 4 wins in a row, which is likely, to lower the heat instead of even doing a 5th one and looking for the 5th one and dropping down a level to the level below this, the $80 level. Do you understand? Common sense. It's all about safety of the bankroll. It's not about, I need to get back to where I was. You saw how easy it is when the wins are coming and coming and coming with this to get to our $35, $40, $45, whatever our profit target is. Don't fight it when you have these bad waves coming. Live through the bad waves, because if you live through the bad waves, your bankroll is still there. So let's just do this and get a feeling for it. All right, there you go. There's a win. So that's win number 1. Win number 2. Win number 3. They come in waves. This is a great system for win percentage. We know that. Win number 4. All right. So we've got 2375 here and another 120. So that brings us back to 400. We're almost exactly back, right? That's 400 and whatever, 95. Now, you know the win percentage is high. I agree. You can stay at this level for one more hit, which is the 5, or you can make the decision to drop down to the level below this. Because you know you're going to get a ton of wins in a row and you should be able to get back to where you need to be anyway. What's the difference? Okay? So I'm not going to go through taking these off. We're just going to spin anyway, right? But I'm telling you that in the real world, and if you do enough simulating on this, you're going to agree with me that going for the 5th win and then dropping is not the right decision here, because we went up 2 steps. If we were only up 1 step on the ladder from the 15, if we were at the 30 and 10, I would go for the 5th one. Okay? But we're not at that level. We're not at that level. Look at the level we're at. I would drop. I would at least drop once back down. Because I know I can make it back. Let me just show you. Right? Let's show you. Look where we're at. We're only $5 off break even and rolling forward. Okay? So why don't you just go to the second level, not back to the 15.5. Why don't you just do this? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? And make these to 10. I didn't drop all the way down. Okay. But I dropped to that second level. Let's just spin. There you go. What if that was another loss and we had another early loss? There is no stress on this $2,000 bankroll because of where we started and the fact that we're playing smart. Look at this. Let's clear this out. There you go. If you're only, let's say you're looking to make $40 on this session, that little bump in the road was nothing for you. Nothing. Now, there's no way in hell that I'm staying on a higher level now. I am absolutely dropping down back to the base. Okay? Did I do that right? 15 and 15 is 30. Yeah. There we go. There's a win. There's a win. Just keep clean. This Romanowski is great when it comes to hit percentage. There's a win. We'll try to go for one more, then we'll see what we're at. You see how the wins are coming in waves. That's why smaller profit targets and playing mini sessions are so important. Let's see where we're at. Look, we're back to 25 up. Okay? Can we get to our 35, 40, whatever our profit target is, that we have evaluated and understood that it is a reasonable profit target that we can hit sometimes very quickly? Right? This is what I wanted you to see. This is the way that we use systems. And I'm not saying this Romanowski is the greatest thing. What I'm showing you is how you take gambling and you turn it into something that makes more sense. And the systems that we teach, especially in the graduate level courses, blow this away. Because they're actually based on more than just this. This is based on the coverage, basically, and the variation of the bet amounts. A lot of our systems are based on probabilities and statistics as well. Romanowski's pretty good. It's the money management that usually sucks, and the person being an idiot and not knowing when to stop and how to manipulate the sizing of the bets properly. Sizing of the bets, recovery, and profit target. That's why people do this and they win 6 times in a row and they end up losing $1,000. How can you win 6, 7, 10 times in a row and walk out of the casino losing $500, $1,000? Because you have no clue. And that's why the casinos make money and make money and make money. And we're very happy for them. Because if the 99% of the people didn't donate, we wouldn't have the opportunity to do what we do. So you have a choice. You can be part of the donation crowd, or you can be part of the casino cash flow educated crowd. This is what we teach, things like this. We teach you how to test, how to simulate, and how to tweak things that make sense from a logical point of view. So this is our slightly, little tweaks to this new Romanowski that Roulette Master showed. Thank you, Roulette Master and Todd, for your new version. And we love seeing what other channels do, because every once in a while there's something that is really cool that we can then experiment with and make it more into what we do at the Academy. Okay? And this is just an example of how you can stretch this bankroll by using ChatGPT, common sense math, and giving yourself how much more leeway that you never have stress. That's number 1. Preservation. Less stress. Number 2, massive evaluations and testing to determine what is the easy profit target, or what we have analyzed to determine what that could be. And then being satisfied and walking away with with profits no matter what they are. Because small profits become bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what the casino is hoping that you don't understand. Walk in with the $2,000 bankroll, make your $40, $50, and do it over and over again. It's a matter of creating a set of rules and a system that can be duplicated time in and time out. It's not about taking $2,000 and making $500 and telling the world that you only did it for 10 minutes and made $500. Congratulations. Because every time you do this, you're putting this $2,000 at risk in a substantial way because of the negative side of of what can go wrong. It can go wrong here too. I want to have a lot more leeway than what this gives me. Okay? So test it out. Try it. Determine what the bankroll requirement is But again, it's not about having less bankroll. It's about having more bankroll than you need and more of a cushion and less stress. Out of this $2,000, let's say you did 50 practice sessions and you wrote down the highest drawdown, which you should be for every practice session, to get to the 40, 45, whatever you determine it is. And you set a stop loss, maybe. That's up to you to determine that in the testing. Okay? What should the stop loss be? I don't know. That's why you do testing. But what if you find out that this $2,000 bankroll is almost never at risk? So if you did a computer analysis and you did 100,000 spins and you lost this 2,000 twice, and then you saw how much money you made, that's the determination that you need to do. Okay? It's a balancing routine of all the data and statistics. What if on the average to make $45, and I'm just saying this hypothetically, what if on the average to make $45 and quit, out of the 100,000 spins, the average amount of drawdown was $250, $350. I don't know. And you had a $2,000 bankroll. Do you see how that's better than the average drawdown here versus the 2,000? This is why you have to commit to testing. Not playing this for 15 minutes on a simulator and thinking you know the whole story. So I hope you guys get it. This is the type of education and the time that we put in to create our toolbox. Like we talk about with our latest course, Casino Diversification Toolbox Module 1. We teach you the mindset and the testing and how to do that and how to give you the tools to determine whether this is even a system that's toolbox worthy. I don't know if this is a system that's toolbox worthy. I haven't done enough testing on this. You need to do testing on everything. In the Casino Diversification Toolbox course, the first module, we give you potentially several toolbox-worthy systems for craps, roulette, and baccarat. But we don't tell you they're toolbox-worthy. We tell you they are our pro-level systems. But you have to go through the testing and determine where they fit into your toolbox and if they fit into your toolbox. It's teaching you how to fish, not giving you the fish. That's the way you create a real business. I'm not going to tell you that there's a specific cookie that you need to sell in your bakery. I'm going to give you all the recipes and I'm going to tell you to evaluate them. But I'm going to give you really good recipes, stuff that's worked for us, but you're not going to close your eyes and just walk into the casino with anything that anybody gives you. That's stupid. Whether you're listening to the Roulette Bankrupt channel with the 10-minute magic that he makes $300 with 10-cent pieces, blah, 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 I don't care. You need to test everything and simulate everything. Whether I tell you it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, or Roulette Master, or Gamblers University, or Whalen, or Ken Knows Gambling, or Roulette Fever, or whatever. CG channel, whatever. I don't care who it is. Test, test, test. You are the one that's going to be putting your money up if you decide to do that. This is a solo sport. The final decisions of what goes in your toolbox, how you play it, your bankroll, your profit targets, when to stop, when to continue, how many sessions to play. There's only one person that makes that decision. It's you. This is a solo sport. We teach you how to fish, and you learn how to create your own toolbox and your own game plan. If you want to learn more, right now you can join us for free. Enroll for free as a student. Start to get some of that basic education. And I guarantee you that when it clicks, you're going to realize that everything you've been doing, learning how to trade magical options and, selling crap on Amazon and all the other garbage that you've been doing the last few years potentially, goes right out the window. And the last thing you say is, I wish I would have learned this years ago. It doesn't matter. Today's a new day. Forget what happened over the last year, 2 years, 5 years. Forget about it. Today's a new day. Join us. Watch the videos that we have on our free education here, as well as on the website. Reach out to us. When you're ready, you can jump into the graduate level digital courses and products. And we're here to do private coaching sessions. I don't know what else I can do other than say we're here to help. And this is my passion. I want you to succeed. I already know how to do this. I already have a toolbox of my own that I tweak on a regular basis with strategies. The only thing I can do is take my knowledge and the way that I do things and teach you. And I'm here. I'm here to do it. This is what I live for. I love teaching people how to make their life better. This is what I did when I was in the trading field. This is what I've done as an attorney. But I like this so much better because it makes such a bigger impact on a person's life. And the learning curve is dramatically lower here than all those BS businesses and even in the trading world. You want my help? I'm here. We'll see you on the inside of Casino Income Academy. I hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.